Hi, I am Lieze, a 35-year-old living in one of the crowded areas in Belgium. And yet I am living a slow life on a farm with my partner, growing my own vegetables and cooking traditional foods, creating life on my own terms. That has always been very important to me. This is the only way to live for me. I had a private practice for 10 years and lived on my own in an apartment. My parents used to be homesteaders themselves. We only ate meat and vegetables they grew themselves. So I grew up with it, but didn't really have a connection to it. At the same time, I always dreamt of living close to nature. I had no idea how to bring this into reality, but I knew that I didn't have to worry about the how. If I want it, I know it's going to be reality sooner or later. I have always been a slow person and at the same time a very fast growing person. I never thought about how to get the material things. Not that anything is wrong with that. I was just focused on getting to know who I was as a person, as a woman, learning to feel my emotions, regulating my thoughts so I got more free by the day. Obviously, this turned into one of my biggest interests and passions in my life, and still is. Naturally, it became my profession. I had my private practice for 10 years and ended it in December last year. It could give me great satisfaction to exchange energy with my clients, to see them grow much needed skills, to grow wiser and more lovable towards themselves. But somehow I always ended up with a sore throat and a kind of exhaustion. I always had the need to immediately go home and regain energy. That shows me that I was out of balance. I always thought that in time this would subside and I would learn to keep my energy with me when I was in contact with other people. The challenge when you are an introvert, of course, which many of you may be as well, because like attracts like. I always have known that connecting with other people was hard for me. It scares me because the sad truth is that I don't trust other people. And I connect from that energy with others, especially when they are physically with me. Then I got cancer, skin cancer, melanoma stage 3. I still have. I deeply believe in the symbolic meaning of body parts. They call it metaphysics. So intuitively, I thought to myself, what is the function of my skin? The answer was, it is the connection between you and the world around you. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I was so confronted, grateful and humbled at the same time. My body is showing my pain again and again. Around this time, I got more interest in working outside. My partner and I were looking to move into his parental home. My partner Dieter is a landscaper and gardener, and so is his father. There is about 2.5 hectares of land that comes with a house full of beautiful trees, a swimming pond, pastures and a chicken coop. There was a piece of land, a quite narrow stretch piece that had no real destination except a path to the cow pasture. There are walnut trees and American oaks. Dieter always has the best ideas, and he suggested, why don't you start a kitchen garden on this piece of the land? We don't live there yet, but when we do, you already have some gardening experience. First, I thought it would be too complicated. Driving there from my apartment, making sure I wear the right clothes, what to do when I need to pee. But the excitement won and we started our garden. Very soon I got this memory from when I was around 20 years old, when I had such an overwhelmingly beautiful dream of living in a cottage, fully in alignment with nature. And all I did was growing my own food, picking herbs, creating tea, swimming in my pond and bathing in the sunshine. It made me cry of joy. I knew something was shifting inside me when I was working this piece of land. Some feeling of simplicity and trust in the world around me. I could produce my own food. How amazing is that? And at the same time, it's the truest thing. I could work for hours and never felt my throat become sore or my energy drained. On the contrary, I was doing so many things in one day. I needed literally hours to recover from my therapy sessions with my clients. It was so remarkable to me, especially since my energy can get drained very easily. And I never found a true other way than resting on the couch to equal that. It truly made me think. And deep down I felt something big was going to shift in my life. I felt that individual therapy one-on-one was not in the cards for me anymore. I am not one to doubt my feelings. If I want something, I know it is important to me. It is the connection with my intuition that I trust. I decided a few years ago that I will never doubt my own feelings anymore. They are valid, and even if other people don't understand, not even the people close to me. So I started preparing to close my practice, which was very emotional. I felt like I abandoned my child. A lot of guilt came up, and also the guilt and fear of being dependent on my partner. I will get into this deeper in another episode. I used to be such a feminist, and now I go back to the oldest traditions, being a housewife and growing our own food. Now I know being a feminist for me was just another protection mechanism to make sure no man could ever truly come close to me. And I never did until I let Dieter in, for real, because I was ready. Letting him take care of me financially, being the one who takes care of him by being the homemaker. 10 years ago, this would have been the last thing on my mind. And at the same time, deep down, this is what I always wanted, what felt right, but I was too ashamed to admit it. My parents raised me to be independent, hardworking, not relying on others. I identified with it, but when I lived like that, I felt unhappy and wanted to escape. I felt no joy, no connection with others, nor myself. The truth was that I was just the opposite. I never wanted to work hard or have a career. I wasn't set on owning my own house. I bought a second-hand car for a couple of €1,000. I made sure I had enough free time to meditate and read than to make money. I just made ends meet, and that was enough for me. It didn't define me at all. On the contrary, I had the feeling I grew immensely, just not in material terms. I just lived a slow life, connecting with myself and nature, and one day when I was healed enough, I wanted to truly connect with other people, open my heart for them. I couldn't do this anymore in my private practice because it triggered me too much, but I want to connect with you. This may be a way to share my insights and questions of this life and inspire you along the way. You are so welcome here. Thank you for witnessing me and connecting with me. See you in the next episode.